success.
Y'all ready to give out some advice?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. We about to do Ain't Shit in 2 Cents. Ain't Shit in 2 Cents is our listener letter segment where we give advice to listeners, who clearly don't care about, listening to people who's drinking foot wine and Jack and moonshine and all of that. I specifically held this letter because this letter actually came in from Katrina B, like 2 weeks ago, but I knew Tam was going to be on the show. So I held this letter. So sorry, Katrina, if you needed advice sooner than this, but it is what it is. It says, hi, Fresh and B, and I'm going to add Tam in that. It says, I am an avid listener of the show. I used to listen to the show, to and from work. Once COVID hit, I started listening on my daily run. People look at me strange when I start laughing mid-run or suddenly stop to ponder something you guys have said. I love your perspectives. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you very much, Katrina. We appreciate you listening to the show.
It's a fact.
It says, anywho, the reason I'm writing is because I want to know how you all stay motivated. You both have stated you have full-time jobs and have other things going on in addition to being dope podcasters. I want to know what keeps
Katrina trying to fuck
you up and Adam.
Too many damn kudos and shit. You trying to fuck somebody.
Who you think she's trying to fuck, me or you? Or both of us?
She trying she trying to get a train like Casey.
Hey, choo-choo.
I hit Casey today. She hit me. I was like, you had any trains around on you recently? But...
Oh shit, I didn't even realize who you was talking about.
Yeah,
now I realize who you talking about. What'd she say though?
She was like, fuck you. I was like, yeah, that means yeah.
Bro, only you would randomly hit a bitch like,
nah, she
asked
me some shit about some other shit. And I was like, yeah, that's all good. Any trains lately? Yeah.
Only you.
Shout out to KC. I meant to say I was going to give you a shout out on the show anyway. So shout out to KC.
Hey, that's my nigga. She always hold it down. Shout out to her. It says, I want to know how, let me get back. I want to know what keeps you up and Adam. Recently, I've been really unmotivated. After I work remotely all day, I am drained once 5 o'clock hits. Although I work remotely, I work the same schedule. And I rarely felt like this when I was in the office. The last couple of months have been a struggle. I try exercising to get the endorphins flowing, but that doesn't help. And now I'm working out even less. I find myself sitting on the couch, mindlessly scrolling my phone or on Amazon buying things. Can y'all share how y'all stay motivated? And that's from Katrina B. And the reason I held this is because I felt like that in the beginning of the quarantine. And I kind of feel like that has an impact on it, but I will kick it to the expert first and ask Dr. Tam, what is her advice for Katrina? What is her thoughts on this?
I think the one thing we have to realize is that, we have to get out of the problem, and we are all experiencing the same thing as far as like this whole COVID thing. We don't know when it's going to end. We don't know the next thing is going to happen. And a lot of us are still stuck in that. We're still stuck in like, well, I don't know if this is going to end. I don't know when I'm going to go back to work. I don't know this. Like, let's get to the solution. And the solution is, how do I function within these circumstances? If it changes, it changes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We need to figure out, how do I function within my current circumstances? So especially when you're working from home, you need to make sure that you are creating some type of schedule. Now, especially because I know that, especially when you're working from home, we're able to finagle our schedule a little better. I always recommend my clients, every 2 hours, you need to get up from the computer and you need to do something. If that's 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you need to walk around. You need to, go outside, take a deep breath, go on your patio, whatever that is. You need to touch something outside of your computer and your work every 2 hours. And then outside of that, you need to create a space within your home. And I know this is really hard because some of us don't have the space to do that, but we need to create a space, and we need to have a workspace. And the only thing we do in that space is work. And once we get up from that space, we do not work. So that means do not do your work in the bed. Do not do your work on the couch. Do not do your work at the kitchen table. Like, create a workspace and do your work within that space. And what this does is that it trains our brain that when I am in this space, I am focused on this one task. Now, when you start confusing the brain, when you take your computer and you put it in the bed with you, and your brain's like, wait, I'm supposed to be sleeping, but I have the computer here and I'm responding to emails. So we don't really know what to do. So creating that workspace sends the signal to ourselves and send the signal to the brain that, like, okay, this is the workspace. The only thing we do here in this space is work. When I get up, when I physically move myself from this space, I am doing something else. So a lot of the things now is that we just have to be a lot more creative about the things that we do. And honestly, if we look at it, it's something to be grateful for, because if we were in the office, we wouldn't have these opportunities to do this. When I'm in the office, I don't have the opportunity every 2 hours to get up and do something, because if I do, like, someone comes up and all this, but now we have that opportunity to do this. Organize your meetings, organize your schedule so that you can literally move from that workspace and go to another area of your house and do something else, because your brain needs to disconnect for many, many reasons. And it's very, very important that we engage our five senses. And I always say, like, let's take it back to, like, grade school, like those five senses. What are we hearing? What are we seeing? What do we smell? What do we taste? Like, all our five senses. And the best way to do that is step outside. If you step outside and just stand there, maybe if not, it's raining, especially, if you got natural hair like me, don't stand outside in the rain, but standing outside and just being able to, like, feel the sun on your skin. What does the wind feel like? What do you hear? What do you see? And even if you put a timer on your phone and say, for 2 minutes, I'm just going to stand here and just utilize my five senses to, like, just get back to the here and now. Every 2 hours, do that. And I always say 2 and 2. Every 2 hours, 2 minutes. Every 2 hours, 2 minutes. And then I say every 2 hours, 15 minutes.
2 minutes, not a lot. Yeah. And it's not a lot. I recommend 15 minutes, but some of us, we can't allot 15 minutes. So I just say every 2 hours, 2 minutes. Every 2 hours, 2 minutes. Get out of that workspace and do something else. And these are the little things. So a lot of times when, you're going to hear this, you're like, okay, Tamyra, I'll do that. But then how is that going to keep me motivated after 5 p.m.? What you're doing is that you're training yourself. You're training yourself to create more energy, create more space in your brain for other things besides work. And you're going to find that by the time 5 o'clock come around, 4:30 comes around, you're going to feel a lot less drained because you've taken that time throughout the day to kind of disconnect from work. So, B, what do you do to stay, what do you do personally to stay motivated?
I just, I got kids, so, what I'm saying? I take my kids out and do some shit, or, I just call motherfuckers and shit, what I'm saying? Like, call my people and shit, text people. I don't know. It's nothing. I've never really lacked motivation necessarily, like, during this whole time. You hit walls and shit, but I'm not that type of guy. Like, thankfully my mental health is pretty strong for the most part. So, as far as I don't really, I guess, but
I'm fucking with you. Go ahead.
I don't really have a lack of motivation though. Like, so I just kind of keep, I'm been doing this shit for so long now. It's just kind of, by rote. So, I just try to, go to the store and shit and just get out and about. I try to do something once I get out of work. Like, even if it ain't just like, thankfully basketball has been back on. So I stay motivated by watching, TV and basketball, and, I go for a bike ride, or, just go fuck with my kids for a little bit, go wrestle with my son, some shit like that. It's just, I don't know. I don't really have any rhyme or reason as to how I stay motivated. I'm thankfully not, unmotivated, I guess, is the good thing about everything, I guess. I don't know.
I think what was interesting for me is I kind of felt that in the beginning, because I'm a very driven person. And I feel like you should always be improving. I feel like you should always be accomplishing something. Like, you shouldn't be sitting around here wasting your time. Like, and that's whether that doesn't necessarily mean like there is output like work. Like, I feel like you should always be happy or accomplishing something. One of the two. Like, one of these two things should be going on at all times. So for me, when this initially kind of popped off and it was kind of a shock to the system, I felt unmotivated. Like, I was just like, what the fuck going on? Cause in my mind, this was going to be over in 2 to 4 weeks. Like, that's what it was. And then when we hit like month 2, I was like, what the fuck? Cause at first I was like, okay, we at home, we cool, we eating shit, the kitchen right here. Like, you know what I mean? We chilling. I ain't gotta go to work. I ain't gotta put on these bullshit clothes I don't want to put on. Like, I get to chill, you know, whatever. And then some shit started to sink in, like, oh, this shit real. Like, I can't get back to the fun parts of my life. I can't get back to certain things. And I'm just like, you know, I talked to another friend of mine who is actually a therapist. And, I was just like, you know, I feel unmotivated. Like, I feel like I'm not accomplishing a lot. And I felt as though because I complained about time, right? So I have a very involved job. I don't have, you know, sometimes I might not come home till, you know, 6, 7 o'clock. I got this podcast. I got a personal life. I got things like that. So time was always this thing for me, right? So I was like, if I had more time, I can do X, Y, Z, blah, 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 blah. And then all of this time was put on my lap. And I was just like, damn, like, so you got all this time, bitch, and you ain't doing shit with it. So I started to like beat myself up because I wasn't maximizing this time that I felt like was given to me. And I feel like there's no reason for me to come out of this pandemic with all of this extra time and not be a better person in some way that I define myself as being a better person. Whether that's an entrepreneurship thing, whether that's a physical thing, whether that's a mental thing. And so I started like beating myself up about that. But for me, it was kind of like, all right, bitch, like, you can't beat yourself up about it. My frame of mind is either you're going to do something about it or you're not. If you're not going to do something about it, then don't fucking complain about it. So then I had to start doing something about it. So I kind of had to pick myself up and say, listen, you don't know how long this is going to be going on. It's going to end eventually. You just don't know when it's going to end. So you need to go ahead and do what the fuck you got to do and get that done. However, I don't want to say that. I don't feel like I'm mentally weak. I will say that. I won't say that I'm mentally strong, but I know I'm not mentally weak. I know I have the awareness about myself to sit and have a conversation with myself and be like, all right, this is what you need to do. Get the fuck up. Can't nobody make it happen but you. You can't complain about it if you ain't gonna do shit about it. And get the fuck up and do whatever you gotta do. So that's what I had to do. So that's how I stay motivated. And I think that Tam touched on a very good point about making a schedule. So about 3-4 years ago, I was laid off. And I had all this fucking time. And the only way for me not to get lazy was to make sure I created some type of schedule for myself. Cause I know individuals who have no job. They don't have anything going on. And I'm just like, how do you function every day just getting up, knowing that Monday is like Tuesday, Tuesday is like Wednesday, Saturday is like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you function? And I've been a person my entire life. I from the time I started school, I was either in school, I was or working. So I've never been a person who had like idle time since the beginning of creation, since kindergarten. I've never been a person who just had idle time. I played all the sports. I was in all the clubs. I was in, you know what I mean? Like, I had friends. I had a personal life. So my time was always accounted for in some way, shape, or form. And now I'm just like, fuck, I got all this time. So I had to create a schedule for myself. And that's what I had to kind of do to get myself out of that kind of funk that I was in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what's going on. You can't be around a lot of people that you were around before because you might catch some shit. You know what I'm saying? It ain't a personal thing. Just because I know you don't mean that you COVID free. So I always tell people, you know, they be like, can I come over? Can I do this? Can I do that? Nah, nigga, it's a whole pandemic going on. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't personal. Cause you can have the shit and not know you had the shit. It's not like you got fucking, you know what I mean? It's not like you got something that is some SED you about to get to me or some shit like that. Like, it ain't that. It ain't a personal thing. Anybody can have it. One of us can have it right now and not even know. You know what I mean? Cause that's just how this thing works. You know what I'm saying? So, I had to do that. I had to create a schedule for myself. And I think, Tam, you hit a very good point of creating spaces. I have a fairly large apartment, you know what I'm saying? And I'm able to create different spaces. What I'm in right now is my workspace, my podcasting space, like all of that. And you know what I mean? Like, I'm in that space and that's what I do in that space. But I have separate rooms. But I know individuals who have, like, first of all, like, super open floor plans in a 1-bedroom. So it's only like they got 2 rooms. You know what I mean? They got their bedroom and they got this open space that their living room, kitchen, dining area, all in the same space. You know what I'm saying? So I realized like, yo, you blessed. You got some shit that other people don't have and you need to maximize that. But it's all about having that awareness about yourself and being able to, like, kind of smack yourself and being like, this is what I need to do. So to wrap that up, my advice to you, Katrina, outside of the advice that they've given to you is, you know, if you want it, you got to work for it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you want. But it's okay to chill too.
Absolutely.
If that's what you want to do, like, it's okay to chill. Absolutely. You don't have to create an empire while this pandemic is going on. Sometimes, you know, the one of the things my mom said to me when I was laid off, I was told a month in advance, right? I was told a month in advance, and everybody in my department except for one person was laid off. And they told us, and they basically like, look, 30 days, you getting a package, all this shit. But I was heartbroken. I never lost a job before in my life. I called my mom on the phone and I'm boo-hooing. I'm in the parking lot, boo-hooing, right? And my mom like, listen, you literally worked since you was 14 years old. There hasn't been a year you did not work. Maybe this just God's way of saying you need some time off. He also gave you money associated with that. I got a severance package. You know what I'm saying? She was just like, so you just need to take it as that. And it was that little piece of information that settled it a little bit for me. Mm-hmm. Like, you just might need to relax. And I say that to you, Katrina, like, you might just need to relax. If relaxing is what it is, relax. If you need to find a more concentrated way of relaxing besides like just scrolling through your phone or some shit like that, because that's where all the bad news at. Mm-hmm. On your phone. Yeah. All the bad news is on your phone. I know that for a fact. Like, the bad news is on your phone. So you might want to think of a different way to relax. And that's mine. Any additional advice for Katrina from either one of y'all?
Nah, I'm good.
Tam, what do you think about medicinal uses of marijuana as a coping mechanism? I mean, it's not this secret thing. We ain't asked about coke and shit. Like, it's weed. Like,
yeah, it's not.
I have an emergency J right here.
The thing,
and you can be against it. I don't know.
Oh, totally, absolutely. So the thing is that I have a couple different opinions on it. Okay. So my primary full-time job right now is in a residential substance abuse facility. I come from a family of addiction. So when we talk about the disease of addiction, using marijuana as medicine is not an option, because when we talk about the disease of addiction and addictive personality, I do not believe that there's no way that you can use marijuana in any kind of way without it eventually leading you back to your drug of choice, period.
Okay.
So
you're talking about if you have a drug outside of marijuana, You saying leading you back to your drug of choice.
Right.
I'm just trying to make sure.
Yeah. So, if we are talking about you have a previous addiction or you have an addictive personality,
gotcha.
I do not believe that you are able to use anything in moderation, really. Definitely not marijuana. Because eventually it leads you back to your drug of choice. Now, you may be able to, I've had clients that have been full blown heroin addicts and they use marijuana, medically for 10 years, but then they relapsed on heroin eventually. So when it comes to that aspect, for me, I do not believe so. So that's why I say, like, every therapist is created differently. I just do not believe that. I do believe that there are some situations when we talk about terminal diseases and things like that, where like medicinal marijuana is needed. When we talk about anxiety, depression, things like that. I just do not believe that it should be used in the medical sense when we talk about mental health disorders. And when we talk about, like medical disorders, cancer, things like that. There's research that shows that it works. Honestly, there's research that shows that everything works if you really look hard enough.
True.
But just coming from a space, so I'm coming from a space of knowing that the majority of my experience has been in the addiction field personally and professionally. So coming from that space, I do not believe that, marijuana should be utilized in that manner.
Okay. Do you feel like someone can, just without previous addiction, do you feel like someone can just smoke weed and it be cool?
It's really hard, honestly, guys. It's really hard for me to be objective in that way, because I see the effect that it has on people, and sometimes knowledge is good, and sometimes it is not. And on this behalf, for me, like I have seen the bad side of it. So you can ask another therapist, and they'll be like, yes, absolutely, it works. But for me, I'm on the side of it where someone's tried it and it didn't work. And now they're back to me again, so on that side of it, I have a hard time wrapping my mind around it. Now, do I believe that when we talk about marijuana and utilizing marijuana in a safe way to manage, to help as part of our resources, not the single resource. So let me be clear. Marijuana as not the single resource. So I'm not saying like I smoke weed, I don't need a therapist. X, that's wrong. But we're talking about like a situation where I smoke weed because it was medically prescribed by my doctor because of XYZ, and I do it in moderation. And on top of that, I do my meditation and I do my therapy and I do all these kind of things. Then the conversation is a little different. But honestly, I don't stand firmly on, you probably can tell by the way I'm talking about it. Like, I don't stand firmly on that it is an effective method, and it could be, and it possibly is, because of my past experience and my personal and professional experience with it. Like I said, like people come to me, they come to me when they was like, I tried it and it didn't work. So now I'm back here, so my opinion is based on that. So I'm not saying I'm totally against it, but I'm not totally standing firm in it either.
Gotcha. I personally feel like, yes, if you have past addictions and things like that, weed ain't gonna do shit for you. You know what I mean? Like, we just gonna lead you back. But, I feel like I've never tried anything harder. I've never tried anything harder than weed. And I don't plan on trying anything harder than weed. Because of worst case scenario, for me, it's like, you either going to be hungry, horny, sleepy, or you want to laugh. Like
right.
Those are the only, those are the impacts. And I can deal with any one of those. I'm good. You know what I mean? I ain't stealing like no VCRs and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But I can say for myself, I feel like my utilization has been up.
What is the purpose?
Months.
Like, why do you?
To relax yourself.
So you have no other
chill.
way to
just have a good
yourself?
time.
Weed is great.
But why not though? I don't see the downside. Like, it's not causing me any type of problems. It's the same thing, right? You just drank wine. It's the same thing.
Have you ever smoked weed before?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you not enjoy it?
Semi,
Weed is great.
I think it depends. It's my personality. It's my personality that, makes it different.
Yeah, I've never had any adverse effects for me personally. Like on my life, I've never had any adverse effects to weed. I've probably had more adverse effects to alcohol than I've had to weed.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
You know what I mean? So weed just gonna calm you down.
Right. So
weed ain't gonna have you all over the place.
Right. So let me explain it to you this way. If you are using weed to escape something.
I think we use all of these vices to escape. I think you drink to alter your mood. I think you smoke to alter your mood.
Well, escape and alter your mood are two different things.
Okay. All right. Break it down for me.
So if I'm saying like, if I get a promotion and I'm doing a champagne toast or I'm drinking some wine, I get me a bottle of wine because I get a promotion, then I am in celebratory mode. I'm celebrating.
Okay.
If I have a breakup or I get fired and my friends are like, hey, Tam, like, you want to talk about, like, no, fuck that. I'm about to go get 3 bottles of wine and I ain't talking to nobody about nothing.
Valid as well. I'm down with either one of those. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, I still don't see the problem. B, you see the problem?
My thing is, as a therapist.
Man, B don't see the problem as of yet.
My thing is that, okay, so this is what I tell all my clients in private practice. Now, like I said, my full time is addiction, so it's going to be a little different. But in private practice, what I tell my clients is, as long as we are discussing, as long as we have effective ways to deal with our emotions, if you want to have fun in the midst of all that, that's cool. But when I ask you how you feel, I need you to be able to tell me how you feel and not be like, I mean, man, I just smoked something and then I was just like, it's cool. No, I need you to tell me. I felt sad. I felt mad.
Like,
I felt
sometimes it
I
do
felt
be
irritated.
like that. I did smoke something.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, we need to be able to have those resources. So do whatever you want to do. Whatever your vice is your vice. But as your therapist, as a therapist, I need you to be able to effectively communicate how you feel without using a substance.
I get that.
Or can you use a substance and communicate how you feel?
When we're talking about marijuana and alcohol, we're not effectively communicating our emotions. No way. No way.
I'll be down.
I feel like I talk even deeper when I'm high.
Yeah.
I can tell you the deepness of my soul when I'm high.
Yeah, but is this effective? The thing, see, I'm going to keep bringing this word up. Is it effective? Is it effective?
Well, I'm not going to talk to a therapist high, so I guess I don't know. Like, I'm not. Yeah, I don't have a therapist.
I need one, but I would get stoned.
To each his own. At the end of the day, I just want all of us to be emotionally intelligent, and we need to be emotionally intelligent without having to go to this substance or that substance, whatever it is, even if it comes to like oils and juices and berries. Like, we need to be able to effectively communicate our emotions without utilizing a substance of some choice, of whatever choice it is.
Just be out here raw and sober and say, hey, I'm sad.
Yeah, and sit in your sadness. Like, sit in your sadness, sit in your anger, sit in your irritation.
Why should you sit in your sadness?
Why not?
Why should you? Like, if you can change that, why not change that? Why be sad and you can change your mood.
I mean, are you ready to go into this conversation, Sean?
Sure. Oh.
Yeah,
that's free smoke. I'm about to get a free smoke. Let's get a free smoke. Katrina, thank you for writing in. Let us know if any of this helped.
Right.
We're about to get into free smoke. And I actually wanted to, so free smoke is where we talk about any of our hot button or personal topics, anything from politics to petty. I was actually going to ask Tam about, giving our listeners some advice on just in general coping through the pandemic and the world burning and all of these things. But we can go either way. You can give us topics on that, or you can tell us how this is wrong, because I'm interested.
Well, I could just wrap it up real quick with how to cope with the pandemic and the world burning.
Okay.
And I think this should answer all the questions. I think one of the things is, like I said, I'm all about emotional intelligence. And I think this is a great time for us to dig into the inner part of us. And I think this is a great time for us to be creative on how we challenge ourselves, on how we engage ourselves, and how we entertain ourselves. And it is a great time for us to not to be entertained by external factors. So that means that we need to learn how to dig deeper and to dig internally. And the only way that we're going to come out of this smarter, better, braver, stronger is that if we know how to if we know how to engage with our emotions. We need to start creating better relationships with our emotions. So that means like when I'm sad, I don't want to. So that's what I say, like, don't get out of it. Like, get to know your sadness. What is it? What does this feel like? What am I thinking? What are my thoughts connected to my sadness? What are the behaviors that come out of my sadness? I need to know that so that when I do that behavior or when I have that thought, I'm able to say like, oh, wait, I'm sad. So let me just do what I need to do to get out of this sadness. So what happens is when we get to know these emotions, the intensity of the emotions decreases. So that means that when I'm angry, I don't punch a hole in the wall. When I'm angry, I'm able to say like, hey, what you just did, it made me very upset. And I feel like punching a wall, but I'm not going to punch the wall. So this is a great opportunity for us to dig a lot deeper for this. And I think that not only I am super hype about it and I super love, and I know it's crazy, but I am super hype about the fact that we are forced to do this right now, especially as a culture, because I think as a culture, as a Black culture, we're always determined on like, how do we get above and beyond our next generation or the generation before that. And I think right now, especially with the current generations, they are more motivated than I've seen a lot of generations before. So it's all about like, what can I get next? But I think this is a great opportunity for us to not only to dig into each other and pour into each other, but pour into ourselves. So at the end of the day, Katrina, I didn't say this before, but it's all about digging into yourself. And that's how we challenge ourselves. This is how we want to get through this pandemic, guys. We're going to get through this pandemic by going internally, because that's the real challenge. The real challenge is not keeping your job, keeping your house, keeping your car. Like the real challenge is digging internally. And when we dig internally, the job, the car, the house, the kids, all that stuff is so easy. It's like breathing. So that's the real challenge, is digging internally. And that's what the pandemic is doing. And I'm grateful for it, because I am here to support my people digging internally. I'm here to support us becoming emotionally intelligent, because that's the only way we're going to win any type of war in regards to ism, racism, sexism, ageism, all that stuff. The only way we're going to win it is if we're emotionally intelligent.
So becoming emotionally intelligent means what? That means that I am sitting and kind of wallowing?
No.
In this emotion? Like,
no. So when I say sitting, I don't mean like the physical set of like I'm sitting here in it. When I say sitting, I mean like you're sitting. If I am dating someone, I sit here at dinner with them. I get to know them. I ask them questions like, hey, what do you like? And what do you like? And what do you like? So it's kind of like if you think of your emotions as little systems inside of you. Right. So like we're all made up of different systems, and each emotion is a little system inside of you. And if you're able to get to know that system, because what happens is like, just like when we're angry, that system is screaming at you like, I am angry. And then we immediately react because immediately we want to get away from this emotion. Like, I want to get over this emotion. So we immediately react with some type of behavioral response. And that's when And that's what's noticed. It's like, damn, Tam, you punched that wall. It's like, okay, so no one noticed that like this dude like punched me in the face and then I punched. No, you punched the wall. That's what we noticed. But I was angry, right? That's the emotion we need to get to know. We need to get to know these little systems inside of us. So don't get confused when I say like sit in it. What I mean is like we need to get to know these little systems. So like when I'm feeling sad, I want to sit across the table from my sadness and ask this sadness like, what do you need me to hear right now? What do you need me to see? What do you need me to think about right now? I need to get to know you because we are the parent system. We are the parent system, and all our emotions are just the little children's systems inside of us. And we all know, and B Hill, you know, like when your kids, sometimes they're tired, they're hungry, it's just like they're screaming, they're yelling, just like, I don't even know what the fuck is wrong with this kid. Like you're fed, had your nap. Like what is wrong? Like use your words. What is wrong? And that's what happens with our emotions. It's like little children inside of us, screaming and yelling, and the way it comes out is as negative behaviors. It comes out as me punching a wall. It comes out as me smoking and drinking and needing to be around my friends and needing to be in the office because I need to get this out of me. But if we sit here and get to know these little people inside of us. So for example, for the kid, if you sit there and say like, okay, son, I hear you. What's wrong? Tell daddy what's going on. Was it school? Did someone make you mad? Is it something I said? Is it something mommy said? Then that kid will start talking to you, be like, yeah, this is what happened. So then you get to know it. So that means that when I get to know it, the next time it comes around, it's not as intense. It's not as intense. I'm able to sit back and look at it and say like, okay, sadness, I hear you. I see you. I feel you. Now let's go to the solution. Mm-hmm. A safe solution, a positive solution. Because the thing about the human species that I absolutely fucking love is that we are able to feel emotions that no other species on this earth is able to feel. So why not get to know them? Why not get to know these emotions? They're here. They're not going anywhere. They're here. Why not get to know them?
Are we talking about root cause and dealing with whatever that emotion is? Is that what we're talking about? Because like I think about myself and I think about the way that I deal with issues. If I'm upset or whatever the case may be, my frame of thought is why am I upset? Is there something I can do about it?
And that's the wrong frame of thought.
Okay, then do it. If it's not something that you can do about it, then move on. Wow. Is the goal or what the message is right here is understand it and then do what with it? I'm trying to figure out how do we eliminate it?
That's the wrong thing. That's what I'm saying. We don't need to eliminate it. We don't need to eliminate it. We need to get to know it. When we get to know it, we decrease the intensity of it. And then the thinking pattern, the clear thinking pattern follows that. So me, as a general person, as a therapist that you're hearing through your speakers right now, I can't tell you what to do next after that. Only you can do that. But you do that when you sit there a little bit and get to know it. So if I'm sad, I want you to literally name your sadness. Okay, Rebecca. Okay, Rebecca, I see you. You're making me feel like I can't get out of the bed. You're making me feel like my life isn't shit. You're telling me that I'm a horrible person. What do you need me to hear right now? What do you need me to do right now? Getting to know it.
And then what would you do? All right, so I can't get out the bed. I'm upset. I realize I'm depressed. What's the next steps? I think I'm not understanding what the next steps is.
And that's the problem. That's the problem.
What's the next step?
That's the problem, Sean. That is the problem. As a culture, we're so fixed on getting out of it. Like, get me out of it. It's like, okay, Tamyra, I hear what you're saying, but how the fuck do I get out this shit? And what I'm telling you,
what are we doing?
You will find that answer when you allow yourself to get to know it. Like, I can't answer that question for you. You find that answer when you allow yourself to really take your time and get to know your emotions, and your emotions will speak to you and tell you, okay, this is what you need to do in a calm manner. So I'm not saying like, okay, I'm sad, so immediately I need to figure out what around me right now is making me sad because I need to eliminate that shit. No.
So don't put a Band-Aid on it.
Exactly.
Right? So no Band-Aid.
No, I think I'll think of it more as not putting a Band-Aid on it, but eliminating the problem.
But that is what a Band-Aid is. That's a symptom.
Not if I don't have to deal with the problem again. I'm never going to be sad about that again.
You may not be sad about that, but sadness will appear again.
Sadness is a part of life. Like, yeah, we always gonna be sad. We always gonna be happy. We always gonna have a stream of emotions. That we're human, like we're dynamic. We're always gonna have emotion. Mm-hmm. Something is always gonna make us happy. Something's always gonna make us sad. It could be something different, every day and things like that.
I think maybe what she's saying is like that sadness is just like while you might try to eliminate that sadness, it's just like a weed, right? So like you can cut a weed at the top, but it's still like underneath the surface. So it's going to still like you have to eliminate that weed by getting in the ground with the weed. You see what I'm saying? Like, oh, there's where the weed roots lie, because I'm just on the surface and I'm trying to like kill it that way and chop it up. And that's not how it is. I need to get in the ground with the weed and then see why the fuck the weed is even germinating, right? And eradicate it that way. I don't know if that's what I took from it.
Are we talking about root cause or not? I'm trying to understand for myself. I'm not debating what you're saying. I'm just trying to understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So when I say change your relationship with your emotions, that equals root cause.
Right. And then once you find out the root cause, what do you do then? So you eliminate it.
No.
Okay.
No, Sean, because the thing is, something's always going to make us sad. Something always going to make us mad. It's going to come in different intensity. So the thing is, if we solve this problem, so let's say I'm anxious right now, and I'm anxious because I'm on this radio show, right? So right now I can say like, okay, guys, cut it. I'm done because I'm anxious. I don't feel like doing this shit, right? But then tomorrow I might get anxious because I'm driving down the street. Same amount of anxiety though. So am I ever really solving my anxiety? Am I ever really making it go away? No. I'm just cutting it off at the neck. Kind of like B Hill said, I'm just cutting off at the neck. I'm not going to the root of it. But what I'm saying is the way to get to the root of it is to think about like, okay, here I am. I'm speaking on this radio show and I am anxious. What does my anxiety feel like? What does this make me want to do? So this is how things happen. There's an external factor and immediately we have a emotional response. After that emotional response, we have a behavioral response. If you think about it like a train, the leading car is the external factor. The next car is the emotional response. And then the last car is the behavioral response. There's always going to be some type of external factor that's going to make us feel a certain type of way. Our goal is to change what that behavioral response is, right? So like, let's say I'm super anxious right now because I'm on this show. I'm going to like, hey guys, I can't do this shit. I gotta go. Just can't do it. And then tomorrow I'm in a traffic jam and I get the same anxiety. And I'm like, hey, I can't do it. I'm sitting on the side of the road. Somebody come get me. I can't do it. I just can't do it. But what happens if I allow myself to just kind of like sit here for a second and evaluate not what's going on around me, but the emotion itself. Mm-hmm. And I say like, okay, anxiety, what's going on? So if we imagine it like little kids inside of you, and every kid inside of you has a name, and the name is anxiety, depression, sadness, anger. And literally what happens is that when that kid is screaming and hollering, it's like, Mama, I want you to listen to me. Please listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. That's what my anxiety is saying. And my behavioral response is get off the radio show right now, because that's what's causing you the anxiety. Because that's the external thing that's happening. Because my little anxiety is telling me like, you are anxious. And then my behavioral response is like, okay, cut whatever's going on around you right now. Turn off the show. But what if I'm sitting here and I'm just like, okay, I hear you. I know, I'm aware. I am sad. I am anxious, whatever that is. I just need to be aware. That's all I'm asking us to do, is to be aware. We don't have to create an exit plan out of it. And I think that is what's wrong with our culture. We always want to create an exit plan, and we've had to do that. We've always had to make plan A, A1, A2, A1, 2, A2, 2, A2, 3. Like we've always had to do that. And that's what's hindered us from growing emotionally because we have not had time to fully experience our emotions. My thing is if we allow ourselves to fully experience our emotions, like fully experience sadness, fully experience happiness. I'm not even talking about negative emotions. I'm talking about even the good ones. Like fully experience it and not think about like what's going to happen next. What do I need to do to get out of it? But really experience it and just let the next moment take care of the next moment. Because I guarantee you, even when you're happy, you're thinking like, okay, I'm happy now, but what can I do to make myself happier?
So you're just saying be present.
Just be present. Don't create an escape plan. Just be present. And my thing is just like when you're trying to get to know someone, the more you get to know them, the better it feels. The more you get to know a person, the more tolerable they become. Right? So like the first time I met them, the way they chewed, I didn't really like it. But now I
think of it the opposite. I be like, the more you get to know somebody, you learn more things you don't like about them where you had the surface shit. But I get you.
It becomes a little more tolerable. Right? So before,
I got you.
I didn't really like the way you chew. But now, I have a good conversation with you and you're a good time when we go out and like, politics. I like politics, so I can tolerate the way that you chew. It's the same thing with our emotions. No, this doesn't feel good. It makes me want to punch a wall. It makes me want to run out of here. But I know you now. Like I know you. I see you anxiety. I see you depression. I see you sadness. I know you. So I know that the thing is we are the parent system. I am the parent system. So I am able to say like, this is what's going to happen next. And that's what we need to imagine. Literally, I want you guys to kind of imagine when you feel an emotion, a little kid inside of you screaming, I am sad. I am hopeless. I am depressed. I am happy. And I need you to speak to that child because you are the parent system. Speak to that child. What do you need? How should we be reacting right now? And if every time we feel an emotion, we're always looking for an escape route, it doesn't matter if it's happiness or sadness. We're always going to be looking for the escape route. When we're happy, it's going to be like, okay, well, what can I do to make myself happier? When you used to see something, it's like, okay, I achieved this goal. What can I do to achieve the next goal? You're never going to be able to be present. And that's what's happening right now in the COVID. It's just like we're all forced to be present and the shit is uncomfortable and everyone's losing their fucking mind because they have to be present with their emotions.
It's a fact.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, bring it over here, sis, because I want to love you in all your emotions.
Interesting concepts you just gave here.
Yeah, it was hard.
Very, very interesting concepts. We will talk offline in regards to these concepts that you just brought forward. But I want to thank you. I want to thank you for listening. Tam, thank you for joining us. Can you tell them where they can get in contact with you, book an appointment, get some of that A1 advice?
So
and guidance.
My website is Lynne Therapy. So LYNNE, like EdwardTherapy.com. Actually, you may want to cross it out because it's not my real one. I missed a couple letters.
Run it back. Run it back. What is it?
www.Lynne, like Edward Therapy, PLLC.com. And there you're able to book a free consultation. We do an over the phone 15-minute consultation. You're able to hear about my therapy services and what I can offer you. You're also able to see my therapy style and all that kind of stuff. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Lynne Therapy. My passion is to help everyone. Even if I am not the therapist for you, after you listen to this, you're like, ain't no way Tamyra's about to be my therapist. That's cool. I can still help you find a therapist. So do not hesitate to hit me up.
Awesome. Thank you. I am looking for a therapist, but they be too young and shit. Like, I feel like it's like a new generation of Black therapists. It's not a lot of like older, like therapists. And that's what, like, one of my criteria is, like, you need to know a little bit more than I do. But I'm looking for a therapist. So I will check in with you and see if you can, give me a therapist that fits my criteria here in Atlanta or virtually.
Just send me some criteria. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. Yeah. I need you to be at 45 plus. You can't be cute and, you know, shit like that. You can't be vulnerable in front of somebody cute. You just can't. But I want to thank y'all for listening to us, man. Make sure you subscribe to the show. Check us out at www.theaintshitShow.com. If y'all want to write into the show, cause I don't think I closed that out properly, write into, the Ain't Shit Show. That's the X word. I will be at gmail.com and write into the show. Katrina, I hope we gave you the information. Follow us on social media at Twitter, IG, Facebook. Y'all know we at YouTube, Spotify, all of that. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. And y'all know we like to end the show with, a quote. And today's quote is, don't let someone who gave up their dreams talk you out of yours. And until next week, I want y'all to manifest y'all destiny, wash y'all hands, stay black, live in your power, and the marathon continues. Didn't Nipsey just have a birthday? Rip Nip.
Oh, yeah, last week. Yeah, Rip Nip. And he just dropped a song with
Rip Nip.
So, shout out to Nip.
Shout out to Nipsey, and we out.